Good morning, my dears. How are you all? I think all of you are doing very nicely. So this is our third class related to the first chapter. It was globes and maps. Okay, I think all of you have done the works very nicely. Most of you have done sincerely, and I would like to appreciate each and every one of you for your sincere approach towards the studies. Keep it up. So we are moving to the next topic from our first chapter. It is Meridians of Longitudes. So latitudes we have already discussed. Okay, here on the board some points are being written and I will be explaining all those things for you. So you listen me very carefully. Are you ready? Okay then. See, meridians of longitude is the first thing that you want to know. So latitudes we discussed, and some important latitudes too we discussed in the last class. 23.5 degree north, 23.5 degree south, 66.5 degree north, 66.5 degree south, 90 degree north, 90 degree south, is it? And we have 180 latitudes. That is what we discussed in the previous classes, and I think all of you have learned, and it was very important too. Okay, so what is meridian? What is meridian? So I still remember the first class when we started. At that time I told you, for locating a place we should definitely get a set of lines. For locating a place we should have to get a set of lines. That set of lines are called latitudes. That set of lines are called latitudes. And at the same time, we know that India has the same time everywhere. 28 states are there in our country, right? In these 28 states, 28 times are not experiencing. At present, what is the time? The same time will be everywhere in India, not in everywhere in the world. Because we could find our time as a common one. So how could we make our time as a common one? It is very simple, dears. Okay, the matter is, if our country need to find the time, we should have to use another set of lines. The another set of lines are called meridians of longitude, or we can say longitudes. Longitudes or meridians are the same. The another term of longitude is meridian. What is the another name of longitude? It is meridians. We have 360 meridians in total. We have 360 longitudes are in total. Okay. So doesn't matter. We have 180 latitudes and we have 360 longitudes. Okay, so what is the another name of longitudes? Meridians. How many meridians are there for us? How many are there? 360. 360. Okay, how many latitudes are there for us? 180. How much? 180. What is the another name of longitude? It is meridians. What is it? Meridians. Then we need to understand what is longitude. Longitude means it is a semicircle. Longitudes are the semicircle which connects the North Pole and South Pole. Take a look at this. Imagine this is our Earth. Now we are learning about the longitudes. So longitudes are the semicircle which connect the North Pole and South Pole. North Pole and South Pole. Okay, what is meridians or longitudes? What is meridians or longitude? Meridians or longitude means the semicircle which connect North Poles and South Pole are called meridians or longitude. I think it is clear to you. Is it clear to you? Then tell me what is meridian? Meridians are the semicircle which connects the North Pole and South Pole. Which connect the North Pole and South Pole. Is it okay? Shall we move to the next? Are you ready? Then one of the speciality of that, today we learned that, before going to the next topic, I am repeating once again. Okay, today we have learned what is meridian or longitude. How many longitudes are there? And what is or how can we define meridians or longitudes? It is very simple. The semicircle which connect the North Pole and South Pole can be said as, can be called as longitudes or meridians. Okay. So you need to understand the next one. Shape of meridian or shape of longitudes are changes over equator. So what is equator? Equator is an imaginary latitude. Equator is an imaginary latitude. Its degree is 0 degree. And it is passing through the middle part of the earth. So, equator is an imaginary latitude or imaginary line which is passing through the middle of the earth. I am going to draw it. Okay, this is latitude 0 degree. Okay, 0 degree latitude is called equator. So, shape of these longitudes or meridians, shape of the longitudes or meridians will be having some changes. Where? Over the equator. Where? Over the equator. Which means the width of the longitudes or meridians. Width, you can see that. Here you can see the width. This is width. And here also you can see the width. So when longitude starts from the North Pole, it travels through this area. When it reaches to the equator, its width is increasing. So the shape of meridians are, when it starts from North Pole, the gap between other longitudes will be very small, or the width will be very less in the North Pole. Width will be more in the equator. Again, width will be reducing in the Southern Pole. So it is starting, we defined it very nicely. It was, we defined it. What was the definition? The semicircle which connect the North Pole and South Pole. So a meridian which is starting from North Pole, so its width is very less. When that same meridian reaches to the equator or middle part of the earth, its width is increasing. At the same time, the same meridian, when it comes to the South Pole, again its width is reducing or decreasing. That is one another thing related to this topic. So we discussed today meridians. How many meridians are there? What will be the shape of the meridians when it is in the North Pole and South Pole and the middle part of the earth? Okay. Then we are moving to the another one. 0 degree latitude or 0 degree longitude or meridian. 0 degree longitude or meridian. So longitude can be otherwise called as meridian. How many meridians are there for us? Tell me. How many meridians are there for us? 360 meridians are there. Right? How many are there? 360 meridians are there for us. Okay. Out of that 360, we are taking one important longitude or meridian. Out of 360 longitudes, we are going to take one important meridian or longitude. It is 0 degree longitude. 0 degree longitude can be called as Greenwich Meridian. Greenwich Meridian. Okay, take a look at this. 0 degree longitude is called Greenwich Meridian. What is the another name of 0 degree meridian or longitude? Greenwich Meridian. What is the name of 0 degree latitude? What is the name of 0 degree latitude? Tell me. 0 degree latitude is called equator. 0 degree longitude is called Greenwich Meridian, or one more name. Okay. 0 degree longitude is otherwise called as Greenwich Meridian or Prime Meridian. What meridian? Prime Meridian. Okay. 0 degree latitude is being named as equator. Then 0 degree longitude is being named as longitude or prime meridian. Then Greenwich Meridian. Greenwich Meridian. Is it okay? So what is the another name of 0 degree meridian or longitude? Tell me. What is the another name of 0 degree longitude? Come on. Oh yes. What is it? Greenwich Meridian or prime meridian. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Then we are moving to the another side. Okay. So before going to this 180 degree east longitude, I have written here 180 degree EL has been written here, which means 180 degree east longitude, 180 degree west longitude. So we can create here. Look at this. This is one another shape of our earth. So now I am pointing here, this is the semicircle 0 degree. So 0 degree prime meridian is otherwise called, 0 degree meridian is otherwise called Greenwich Meridian. Greenwich Meridian. Greenwich Meridian. 0 degree meridian or longitude can be called as Greenwich Meridian. So Greenwich Meridian is passing through the middle of the earth, and we need to understand why we call this, or why do we call this 0 degree longitude as Greenwich Meridian. It is very simple, my dears. 0 degree longitude we call as Greenwich Meridian. It is very simple. Why do we call 0 degree meridian as Greenwich Meridian? Why? How many of you know the matter? It is very simple. This 0 degree meridian is an imaginary line. It is an imaginary line, okay? It is passing through British Royal Laboratory. In Britain, in London, there is a laboratory. Over that region, this 0 degree imaginary meridian is passing through. As a result of that, we are calling it as what? Greenwich Meridian. So that laboratory, Greenwich Laboratory it is, as a result of that. So in Britain, through Greenwich Laboratory, which is exactly located in London, and through that, this 0 degree meridian is passing. As a result of that, we are calling it as Greenwich Meridian. So this is the important meridian. Which is the important meridian? 0 degree. So 0 degree prime meridian or Greenwich Meridian divided our earth into two equal halves. 0 degree prime meridian or Greenwich Meridian which divided our earth into two equal halves. The right hand side, it is called Eastern Hemisphere. Eastern Hemisphere. What is it? Eastern Hemisphere. West side, this is called Western Hemisphere. Western Hemisphere. Western Hemisphere. Is it okay? Is it okay? 0 degree meridian which divides our earth into two equal halves. Right side it is Eastern Hemisphere. West side it is Western Hemisphere. Eastern side we have 180 meridians. Eastern side, Eastern Hemisphere, how many meridians or longitudes are there for us? Tell me. 180 meridians are there in the Eastern Hemisphere, and the same manner 180 meridians are there in the western hemispheres too. Tell me, how many are there in the eastern hemisphere? How many longitudes are there in the eastern hemisphere? Tell me. 180 meridians are there. How many are there in the western hemisphere? How many are there? 180. Understood? So we have 360 longitude. Out of this, 180 longitudes are exactly located in the eastern hemisphere. Another 180 degrees of longitudes are exactly located in the western hemispheres too. Western hemisphere too. This is one another thing. Okay. Now we are moving to the next topic. That is international dateline. What is it? International dateline. So, when I told you about these longitudes are mainly using for location, and at the same time, mainly it is using for finding time of a country. Why do we use longitudes? Finding time of a place, we can definitely use this imaginary line. Which imaginary line? Longitudes. So we are calculating the whole world's time by using the prime meridian or Greenwich Meridian. We are calculating the time differences of the world. Okay. We are calculating the time differences of the world based on 0 degree longitude or Greenwich Meridian. So some of your father or relatives will be there in Saudi Arabia or USA or Germany or Italy or somewhere else, right? When they call to you, they will be having one time and you will be having one another time. When your father is calling from Saudi Arabia, sometimes you will be slept. Is it? But when your father was calling you, at that time in Saudi Arabia there is one another time, and in India there is one another time. How do it possible? Why these two nations are not having the same time? A big question it is. Is it? India is having one time, Saudi Arabia is having one another time, and we are unable to talk with our parents because we will be sleeping at that time. So, every world nations are using this longitude for the better fixation of their time. So every countries, every region, means India 28 states are there, right? 28 states are having same time. Otherwise, people cannot live comfortably if the 28 states are having 28 times. So having a uniformity in time, we are using longitudes. Okay, India have used 82.5 degree east longitude as its standard meridian. Okay, every world nations will have their own standard meridian. Standard meridian means the meridian or the longitude which have been used to find the uniform time of a country can be called as standard meridian or standard longitude. So, which is our standard meridian? Our standard meridian, India's standard meridian, India's uniform time have been fixed with one longitude, that is 82.5 degree east longitude. What is it? 82.5 degree east longitude is the standard meridian of India. Standard meridian of India. So now I told you this standard meridian, maybe it won't be there in your textbook, doesn't matter, you keep all this information with you. When you come to the higher grades, you will definitely have to find these kind of question and its answers. So now you keep it in your mind that what is standard meridian? Standard meridian is the meridian which is using by every nation for setting their uniform time. Okay, which is our standard meridian? Which is India's standard meridian? Tell me, which is our standard meridian? 82.5 degree east longitude. What is the another name of 0 degree longitude? Prime meridian or Greenwich Meridian. How many meridians are there in the eastern hemisphere? How many meridians are there in the eastern hemisphere? Tell me. Yes, 180 degrees are there in the eastern hemisphere. Then how many are there in the western hemisphere? 180. And which longitude will be using for calculating the time differences between the world nations? 0 degree. What is it? What is it? 0 degree longitude or meridian or Greenwich Meridian will be the base of calculating time differences. Then international dateline. International dateline, which longitudinal degree is being called as international dateline? I am going to tell you for you. It is 180 degree longitude. 180 degree longitude is being called as the international dateline. International dateline. It is an imaginary line, not an original line. This is passing through Pacific Ocean. Passing through Pacific Ocean. On the top of Pacific Ocean, there is no such line. Imaginary line it is. Okay. So, which degree of longitude will be called as international dateline? 180 degree. Which means international nations time differences can be find out. If a person who cross from the west hemisphere to east hemisphere by crossing 180 degree longitude, they will be having differences in day. They will be having differences in day. For example, from the western hemisphere, okay, a person who crosses the international dateline, he will be missing a day. He will be missing a day. At the same time, if a person who crosses from eastern side over the international dateline, he will be a day ahead. A day ahead. So this is actually not there in your textbook. What I told you right now is not there in the textbook, that you will be learning in the higher grades. And do not feel that sir is escaping from that topic, but now you are in 5th standard, you need not to have any such hard topics. So what you want to understand is, based on this international dateline, it is an imaginary line, and that is using for the differences of the days in the both hemisphere, which means eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. So western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere days differences can be calculated by using this international dateline. Okay, so with this we have reached the final stage of today's class, final topic of today's class. Let me remind you what we have learned once again. Okay, it is nothing. What is meridian? Another term used for showing longitudes. Then shape of the meridians are changing. Shape of the meridians are changing when shapes of the meridians are changing when it reaches to the equator and when it reaches to the poles or the width, okay, the gap between two meridians are having some kind of differences. Okay, then we discuss 0 degree meridian, which is called prime meridian or Greenwich Meridian. And why do we call that 0 degree meridian as Greenwich Meridian? It's very simple. It is an imaginary line which is passing through London's Greenwich Observatory or Laboratory. As a result of that, we got, the 0 degree meridian got the name Greenwich Meridian. Right? Then 180 degrees of longitudes are there in the eastern hemisphere and the same number is in the western hemisphere. Okay. Then we learned the international dateline and standard meridian. Standard meridian also we discussed very nicely. Once again I am telling you, standard meridian are the meridians used by various nations for fixing a uniform time for their country. So that India's standard meridian, as per the government's instruction, India's standard meridian is 82.5 degree east longitude. What is it? 82.5 degree east longitude. Okay, this is what we have learned. Then we have to cover maps. Maps you are not going to learn now. You will be getting that maps and related explanation in the next class. This is enough for today, and do your work sincerely. You did it. I told you in the beginning. I'm so happy, and many of you are contacting me directly and asking me the doubts. So I feel so pleasant. I feel so happy, because such an effort have to come from your side. Okay, so God bless you. So we are winding up today's class, and the works and the related things will be coming to you through Google Classroom. So thank you so much.